It's Hump Day. You know what that means. Time for the SCWA Hump Day book tour. I'm your host, Maddie Margarita, here with Diana Pardee, our tech wizard. Every Wednesday at 10 a.m., the Southern California Writers Association turns our Facebook group page over to a different author to talk about themselves and their books. This week, we are very, very proud to welcome August Norman, thriller writer August Norman. So grab your coffee, sit back, and be prepared to be wowed. August.
Wow, well, I can't wait to wow all of you happy Wednesday morning humpers. Is there a name? I'm August Norman. So glad you all tuned in for this lovely bit of midweek learning. I don't know what we call it. I write crime thrillers. I'm located in Studio City, California. I write crime thrillers about huge emotional things, at least to me. So I've been lucky enough to meet a great many people from the SCWA, and I'm excited to be here. So I will just talk about myself. And if I go blank, I'll just reach out for Maddie and she'll virtually come to my rescue. As I said, I write crime thrillers. So I have two so far. The first one came out last April. It's been a blur for everyone, I'm sure. But it came out last April. It is right there. It's called Come and Get Me. And it features an investigative journalist from Los Angeles, an Angelino by heart, who returns to her college town and deals with a past trauma while there and is enlisted to find a missing student. And doing so reconnects with parts of herself that she'd kind of forgotten about for 20 years. It was a great deal of fun. I established some wonderful characters that I really love and couldn't wait to bring back. And I get to do so in my second book in the series, Sins of the Mother, which comes out September 8th. You'll be able to find it in hardcover and ebook and audiobook, and I'm very excited about all of that. Sins of the Mother, we find Caitlin again, and she's back in LA where she belongs, where she feels comfortable, and she's hard at work doing investigative journalism, and she's finding that industry changing, but she's doing her best to still do a great job. She's been writing a piece on the homeless for the last month, and she's also sort of mentoring a young protege. That is, she doesn't have any kids. She's like 45, and she has that kind of family you choose rather than the family you were born into. She grew up only the adopted daughter of a mostly single LAPD officer. And so she has a very sort of tiny family unit, and she doesn't like to let people in. So while she's here struggling kind of to see what her career is going to be in the future as print journalism sort of dies away, she gets a call out of nowhere from a sheriff in a small county in Oregon. And this sheriff says they'd like her to come identify a body which they believe to be her birth mother. Now, granted, she knows a little bit about her birth mother, but she knows that the woman went to high school with her father and that she ended up as an adult performer in adult films and that sort of thing. But she's always sort of hated this woman. She's hated her for being abandoned. And so she looks at this as an opportunity to sort of solve a mystery of her own. That is the origin story of why she ended up being adopted by a friend of her mother's from high school. So she goes up to Oregon, ready to meet this woman finally. And she's kept this diary with her the whole time. It's a book that she was given on her 13th birthday, supposedly by her birth mother. And she's just scribbled every nasty thing she's ever wanted to say to this woman. And she takes it with her to the medical examiner's office, ready to see this woman who might be an older version of herself. And when she gets there, she realizes this woman's not recognizable, meaning a great deal of damage has been done to this body. Not to mention, the medical examiner and the sheriff don't actually know the woman's name, so she's kind of confused of, why do you think this is my mother? They lead her to a letter that basically reaches out to her by name and says, "I'm sorry I wasn't there for you. Please look out for the daughters." And she's like, "Well, what are the daughters?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, you don't want to know about that. That just happens to be our local cult." So the Daughters of God are this reclusive cult of mostly women who live up in this mountainous area of Oregon. And the townspeople have, as the history of Oregon is wont to do, a little bit of white supremacy to them. And there's a local white supremacist group who not only hates this organization, but believes one of their founders' daughters ran away and joined this group. So Caitlin finds herself trying to tell the story of her mother and caught between a white supremacist group and a cult that believes the end of the world is coming. So I'm very excited about this book. I got to really explore a lot of stuff I wanted to explore, including I got to build my own religion. Now, I'm not saying you should send money. You probably shouldn't adhere to any of their beliefs. But if you want to send money, you can. Otherwise, just buy the book. It's because I really wanted to, right now, obviously, I mean, in each book, I like to explore something that makes me angry. So as much as there's a mystery and a thriller inside of every book I write, I really like to use that and use Caitlin as my voice of reason in the world. So in the first one, in Come and Get Me, I kind of took on my anger and helplessness at the world of sexual assault on college campuses. In this one, I'm taking on the world of cognitive dissonance, meaning how do people believe something even after it's been proved demonstrably false? And in the case of this cult, the Daughters of God, they believed that the world was supposed to end in 2016. So the day came and went and the world didn't end. And I want to know why they stayed, what it would take to make someone stay. And of course, I got to do all kinds of research. And I'm not trying to, I'm doing this with a happy tone, but of course, that world of extreme religious groups is a horrible thing that leads to horrible damage in families' lives, families and friends who go into them, let alone the children who are raised in these groups. But I really wanted to know, why do seemingly normal people end up in these groups? And then if so, why do they witness something that should just tell them to stop and turn the other way and then stay with that group? So I got to explore all of that. It all comes together in a, well, I'm not going to say fiery inferno, but let's just say the end of the world may come for these people. And they have to make that choice. And Caitlin has to kind of be the wedge of reality of like, how do you reach someone who is this far gone? And I'm really pleased with how it turned out. So I'm excited to share this book with people. I'm excited. Yeah, hopefully I won't be stalked by any fringe religious groups. I have merged enough religious groups out there that no one in particular should be like, that's us. But I really did get to look into what I think would make me join a cult. I mean, a lot of cults, if you're not familiar, started right here in Southern California. In fact, it's an odd parallel that a lot of serial killers also begun their work right in Southern California. But it's an area that not only is an international world magnet of people from all sorts of walks of life, including faiths, but it's also a place where people come to have their dreams come true. And inside of that, inside, I mean, I may have done some acting in the past. That it's that need to feel special and unique, a lot that draws a lot of these people. And then when they get here and their dreams don't come true, they find this, why not? And that's where people become very susceptible to these strong, charismatic leaders who can suck them in and sort of say, yes, you are special. Not only are you special, you're really special. Like, you have something no one else has. And if you listen to what I say, I can teach you to see God, or you can save the world, or you can be clear of every bad thing you've ever done. And so that's part of the fun of the book. If there's, I mean, again, it's also my look at family. So I'm not trying to say it's a fun book. It's a dark book. I tend to write dark things with humor in them, but it is a fun world to explore remotely.
So Norm,
yes.
If people are looking for a book about sex work, white supremacy, cults with a family theme, This is a good book this would be the right book for them. Is that true? Accurate?
I think so. I also think it's just a good book if you're looking for a fun thriller. If you're from the Pacific Northwest, or the West Coast in general, I think it's especially another part. Maddie knows this, but the rest of you may not. My wife and I recently had our first child, so a lot of this is my exploration of what makes a good parent. And obviously, I've come to the conclusion that sometimes what makes a good parent is walking the other way or letting someone else more capable do the job. But from that same lens, it's like, well, what makes a good child? That we expect our parents to be something magical, like what everybody else has, when really parents sometimes are just the provider of essential nutrients. And so it's yes, yeah. If you're in a cult, I mean, this is a book for you. But if you're just into a family-based thriller that solves some questions internally about the character, I think it'll also be very enjoyable for people. In fact, especially anyone who read the first book, I think this book sees Caitlin 2 years later back in her home safe zone, in her own element. And it also gives her an opportunity to become this mentor figure, a mother of sorts, to a woman who was in the first book.
Wow. You know what? It sounds great. I can't wait to read it. So you said it's coming out in September.
I did. September 8th.
Tell us a little bit about where people can find Come and Get Me and how they can get their hands on Sins of the Mother.
Fantastic. Well, Come and Get Me is available from any major bookstore or minor bookstore. That is, you can find it on the Big A. You can get it at your independent bookstores. If they don't have it in stock, they can order it. It's available in hardcover, ebook, and audiobook. And again, you can find that anywhere.
Do you have a special going on? I heard a rumor.
All right, so there's two things coming up. One, the month before September, which we call August, I'm very confident that there will be an ebook down pricing of Come and Get Me. So if you don't want to spend the full price, you could probably get it for the low price of $1.99 or $2.99 in the next month. I will make sure that everyone who's on my email list, of course, finds out about that. You can find my email list at augustnorman.com. The second item is right now, up until the 18th, the 19th, myself and 5 other authors are giving away signed copies of our books as part of a contest. You can find that contest info through the same link, augustnorman.com. You'll see a thing that says giveaway. Officially, a link is augustnorman.com/giveaway. And it's myself, it's Matt Coyle, it's Carl Vonderow, Amber Cowie, Maureen Joyce Connolly, and D.A. Bartley. And it's a great mix of mysteries and thrillers from the last year. They'll all be signed hardcovers, and I think you'll all really enjoy it. Join the contest.
Well, I think everybody should. You have me at free. But I want to wish you the best of luck on Sins of the Mother. I enjoyed Come and Get Me very much. For everyone who's watching, if you enjoyed our bookshop this morning and August Norman, please like and share. Next week, we will be welcoming Glenn Eric Hamilton, who will be talking about his latest, A Dangerous Breed. Until then, stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Thanks again, August.
Thanks, everybody. Look forward to seeing you in person.